Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Moto, and this is about the most vanilla motorcycle you can buy here in 2025, the Honda NX500. However, if you're an ice cream enthusiast like myself, you would know that vanilla is one of the most versatile and well-respected flavors on the market. So saying that it is vanilla means it is universally liked, it is adaptable to many different situations, and it's a safe bet. So today we're going to go for a little ride on the NX500. We're going to talk about what it is, what it provides, why you might choose it, and why you might go with something either more off-road oriented or more on-road oriented. For those of you who are ill-informed, this is the newest version of Honda's CB500X, bike that featured Honda's 500, or technically 471cc, 180-degree crank parallel twin 4-stroke motor, a mill that they use in all sorts of different products, from the Rebel 500, a CBR 500R, and bikes like this now, an X500. With the new name, you're getting some updated styling to look like a much more significant motorcycle, LED lights, kind of on-road with some off-road capability tires, which we'll see here in a little bit, put to work. You've got ABS, you've got traction control, you've got a configurable gauge cluster, and all of that coming in after destination just around $7,000. Whether you think that is a lot or a little is going to depend on how much you realize everything costs here in 2025 and how much you realize you can do with a motorcycle that makes about 42 horsepower, about 32 pound-feet of torque, and gives you room for a passenger and a little bit of ground clearance as well. Now, interestingly, I'm filming this just about a week after Kawasaki announced their new KLE line. That's going to have the 500cc motor out of the Ninja 500 and Z500. It's going to have spoked wheels and a little bit more of an off-road lean compared to this motorcycle, but we still don't know pricing. Actually, do we know pricing? I don't think so, and I know we don't know weight on that bike as well, but this bike coming in about 430 pounds, which is really not that bad. I've actually been pretty pleasantly surprised with the weight and sort of general throwability of this bike. Now, if you're a follower here at DM Moto, you'd know we've already published our DM commuter fuel economy test on this bike, where we put it through a little bit of a daily riding sort of situation and talk about how it does. It did quite well at that test, got very good fuel economy, and was also very pleasant to ride. This is going to be a little bit more of the bike enthusiast review. So we're going to go out. Not going to do quite as much off-roading as I would like to. Admittedly, I'd love to go do an extended ride with this bike, throw some side bags on there, and spend a little extra time, but we just don't have that afforded to us here today. So we're just going to go for a little rip, talk about what this bike can do. Quick shout out to the video sponsors here today. We've got our Arai Contour X on my head and the Helite Turtle 2 airbag vest on my torso. That's what this is right here. Now, this probably isn't the best place for me to have my tether mounted, but when you switch motorcycles as often as I do, you get a little bit creative and lazy. Popping on, firing up this little 5-inch screen that we're seeing on many of Honda's new motorcycles here. This one not giving us outside temperature, a little bit disappointing, but it is giving us configurability. Right now I had it white with the circle gauge, but I can go down here into the settings screen, go to display, change that to a bar, and change the background here to black. I prefer how that looks. Controls wise, you have an adjustable front brake lever, but no adjustability to the clutch lever. Got your bright headlights, traction control defeat right there. No defeatable ABS, so keep that in mind if you plan on doing more aggressive off-road riding. Your multi-function buttons right here for the display. Little horn, and hazards over here on the right, kill switch, and the all-important starter. Bringing to life one of the most innocuous engines on the market here today, Honda's 500cc parallel twin. Motor that does pretty darn well on the lower revs. Doesn't really love getting stretched out into the higher RPMs. It'll do it. It's just not its favorite thing to do. But what that results in is a very easy to ride motorcycle. We've got a slipper and assist clutch. It means that it's very easy to pull the clutch lever, and if I downshift without rev matching, it sort of meshes together peacefully and doesn't chirp the rear wheel. So if you're a newer rider or just a lazier rider, you're not very good at rev matching, as you downshift, you're going to appreciate that. The NX500 is giving us this windshield here, which I struggle with because I often find these factory windshields like this, or similar to the one that I had on my V-Strom 650, if you're an average-sized rider such as myself, it ends up just funneling dirty air right at your helmet, which means it's loud. So yes, it provides a little bit of extra protection for your body, but it ends up just being a louder and messier air experience when you're riding at 50 miles per hour or above or so. Now, if you duck down below, it's good and quiet. If you get way above, you get clean air, that's quiet. But realistically, I would probably put some sort of laminar tip on the top. Let's get on the highway here real quick and I can just sort of show you what you're gonna experience. Give it full twist. So here we are, 70 miles per hour. Air's coming right mid-windshield form, mid-face shield. So yeah, it's just loud. I actually find myself having to ride with earplugs in. But you go down here, very calm and quiet. But if you are okay with wearing earplugs, then it does make it so there's less air on your body and you can cruise highway speeds. No problem. We're about 6,000 RPM. Virtually no vibration here in the handlebars or the pegs or anything. Perfectly fine place to be on the highway if you were looking to do more mileage. No problem doing it here on the NX500. I could even load it up with gear because a little bit of right twist, get up to just about triple digits. So without really ducking under for somebody about 170 pounds, 5'10", like myself. Unfortunately, no sort of cruise control. Just seems to be the way that the motorcycle industry is. You have to pay for more power and bigger engines in order to get cruise control. Yes, I agree it's a little frustrating, but the fact that we can't even get cruise control on the Transalp sub 50 tells me that there's no way you're going to be seeing it on the NX500. But you can get yourself one of those little throttle locks, sort of help the situation if you plan on doing long highway slogs here on the NX. The seat is fantastic here on the NX. It's just the right angle. I'm not being slid forward or backward. It's wide enough and cushioned enough that it's one of the first motorcycles in a while that it doesn't matter how long I've been riding, I simply don't think about the seat. It's just, it's a non-issue for me. And there's a decent amount of squish back there for a pillion as well. So if you wanted to put a passenger on the back of your NX500 and go out for either a little ride or a longer ride, good amount of comfort for them. They've got handles back there to hold on to, or throw yourself a little top box on there, help them be just that much more comfortable on the back. You're not exactly going to be rocketing them off here with this little 500cc engine, but it's going to add to their comfort. Again, just so easy, shifting the spike up, down, left, right, doesn't matter. Clutch in, clutch out, riding around, very, very easy motorcycle to ride. But despite not being particularly heavy, this is one of the heavier bikes that this mill is being tasked with moving. I mean, most of the motorcycles that you get this little 471cc engine in are lighter, so they're going to feel a little bit more sprightly and a little bit gutsier. Here on the NX500, especially if I throw on some weight or a passenger, you kind of have to be in the right gear essentially all the time in order to get this thing around. Now, just myself, obviously no problem getting up and getting going, but it's just a hair under the real wow and fun factor that I like to have on a motorcycle. Now, I'm not a big high-speed motorcycle sort of guy. I'm not really interested in going over 100 miles per hour. But I do like to get there quickly. I like being able to rocket off the stoplight, stop sign, whatever I'm doing, and feel the front end lift if I'm not careful and I really want to be pushed to the back of the motorcycle. And likewise, if I'm kind of cruising up the hill here, oh, I'm going to slow down here for this school, 4th gear, putzing along, and we get past the school, I want to speed up again a little bit. There's not much there. I like to have a little bit of twist. I like to have some thrill and excitement. And that's what you start to get with Honda's Transalp 750. That engine, that's a great little engine that has a lot more character. It's got a lot more twist and just a lot more power, despite not being that much bigger of an engine. This 500cc is merely competent without exactly being exciting. So if this is a plain cup of vanilla ice cream, the Transalp is vanilla with Oreo. It's maybe a little chocolate drizzle as well. It's going, ooh, that's fun. I love that. Give me more. This bike, unless you're just really wringing it out, is just, okay, it's good. And on top of that, there's nothing about the sound or the feel or the character of this engine that's ever going to be particularly exciting. Now, it's a very quiet engine. I actually kind of appreciate that if you're just riding through neighborhoods or leaving your house or something like that. And if you're cruising on the highway, you don't even hear the engine. All you hear is wind. But even if you threw some sort of exhaust on here, it's never going to sound cool or good. It's just going to be louder. Whereas again, you get the firing order and the configuration of that Transalp motor. That's a fun little engine. That's one that has some excitement to it. But just for kicks and giggles, we'll really open it up here, send it up and down the canyon. I mean, we're getting up to speed. There's no problem with that. If you're a newer rider, this is gonna feel plenty powerful enough for you. Or even if you're a veteran rider, it's not it's lacking in power, it's just that it's lacking in push and character. "19-inch front wheel, 17-inch rear," so it's not going to lay over quite as quickly as a sport bike, but it's also not going to be as upright as a true dual sport. I'm pretty happy with the configuration there. In fact, throughout all of my riding with this bike, despite it not being a particularly thrilling motorcycle, I've had so much fun riding because the comfort and the ease allow me to enjoy other aspects of motorcycling. I'm looking around at these gorgeous views and I'm not thinking about, oh man, my wrists are sore, or oh, my butt's uncomfortable, or oh, this bike really wants to be laid over in these corners and rotated fast. I'm just out here having a nice time on two wheels. Then if I get myself into some sort of situation, I got anti-lock brakes. Oh, it's going to help you from endoing or any sort of other unfortunate situation. And then if I go to take off and there's some sand on the road or something like that, I don't have to worry about the bike skidding out. I've got traction control. Woo! It's so easy to just go out and find yourself a good time with a bike like this, because it doesn't matter what sort of riding you're doing. It doesn't matter if it's on-road, off-road, highway, twisty roads. It can do it all, and it does it all better than you would expect. I've also been really satisfied with the suspension out here on the NX. between city riding, off-road riding, rough roads, sporty, doesn't matter. It really supports the bike well. Now I imagine if you load it up, you're a heavier rider or anything like that, yeah, it's going to start to falter. But for being such a simple, on paper sort of suspension setup, really happy with these shoulder forks and the basic adjustment of the rear shock. If you're somebody who gets joy and excitement and fulfillment from just being out on a motorcycle, then this is all the motorcycle you need. It's got all of it. It really does. If you're looking for more of a niche product, obviously those exist. That's what makes the motorcycle world so beautiful, is the fact that if you're primarily off-road, you'll get yourself a CRF 300L. If you're primary on-road, get yourself a CBR 650R, the 500R or something, or the SCL or the Rebel. And if you're somebody who needs to be flying 0 to 60 in 3 seconds and being able to shoot right over 100 miles per hour, that is where I wouldn't recommend this bike. That's where Honda makes the Africa Twin, the Transalp, their new NT 1100. I mean, there's plenty of motorcycles that Honda and obviously plenty of other manufacturers, bikes that they'll sell you that are going to fulfill that need and scratch that itch better. But if you're somebody who just wants to get out and ride, this is a fantastic little bike. Oh shit, it really is. And I would argue there are many riders out there who would be better served with this motorcycle than a lot of other bikes, because it's lighter, it's easier to ride and maintain, and it's more comfortable. Yes, you're not going to turn many heads with it, but if you get fulfillment from just being out and exploring and riding and keeping to yourself, that's where the NX500, very, very good. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on this bike, check the link below for our DM commuter ride. Like I said, I would happily spend more time with this bike. I really would. I've got no qualms with it. And we will try to get it out and compare it with the KLE 500 this spring. Kawasaki still has quite a bit of lead time before that bike's actually able to be under our butts. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from DM Moto, and as always, ride on.